Hello my friends, I am B and this is B's Intuition. Today I wanted to do like a heads up from Spirit. So that will be what it is. Heads up from Spirit, what you should know or get prepared for. Yeah. Alright, let's just dive right into it, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. What should the collective be expecting to take place? What do they need to get prepared for? Prepared for? What is it? What's the heads up that the collective needs right now? Please and thank you, Spirit. Heads up for the collective. Please and thank you, Spirit. Ooh, okay. Alrighty, so what we have the Three of Cups, and then we have the Nine of Cups, and the Four of Swords. Honestly, very beautiful energy so far. So far, so good. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Strength card. Why do I feel like you're being rewarded for your strength? Or your endurance? Or you didn't give up on something here. Maybe it was simply just yourself. You didn't give up on yourself. And now you're coming into some sort of beautiful blessing here. And it feels like multiple blessings, to be honest. Also could be coming as a result of like your self-work, your work with Spirit, the Divine. Interesting. Let's just start to clarify with that Three of Cups. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Three of Cups trying to tell the collective? What's the heads up with this Three of Cups that the collective should know about? Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay. Any other flip over? Nope. We're good. We got you. This is so strange. What the heck? Okay, I'm not gonna argue with it because it's good cards, but strange. Anyways. Yeah, so we have the Four of Swords, which we had just now. We have double confirmation for Four of Swords here. Four of Pentacles. Multiple fours or multiple threes could be significant for you right now. That could be a message from Spirit. If you see maybe angel numbers with 3 or 4s, it could be that like this blessing is on its way to you. It could be like a reminder from Spirit to keep going maybe. And then we have the Three of Cups, which this is clarifying the Three of Cups. So again, double confirmation here. 2 Three of Cups is cup size. Anyways, 2 of Pentacles, and then like I can't make this up, it's the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and that's the second card that we're going to be clarifying. So whoever this message is for, you really need to hear this because Spirit is emphasizing what is about to happen for you. And again, it feels positive. I don't think this is anything you should worry about. Since we are clarifying the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups came out to clarify the Three of Cups, there could be something going on within your community or your friendships. Oh, okay, I think I see this taking place. I see the plot that's thickening here. So the Four of Swords, you've been really probably in a time of isolation, I suppose. Doesn't have to be super like strict or like you're like cut off from all of the world or that you're completely offline, nobody's talked to you or seen you in months. It's more so the Four of Swords is like the baby hermit phase in my personal opinion. It's like, yeah, you're gonna take some time to yourself, maybe reflect on things, meditate, focus on your inner health as much as you focus on your outer health maybe. I feel like that could be a message for somebody out there. That like your spiritual health, your mental health, your emotional health, all of those things are really important to keep up on. And especially with the world being what it is, I feel like that's just a good practice to keep in mind in general, especially when there's so much going on in the energy around us. I really do feel like there could be a message here for somebody that's empathic or sensitive, whichever you would define it as. Um, because when there's a lot of really awful things taking place, people that are sensitive or empathetic or empathic, they can really like absorb that pain and feel it very intensely, and that sorrow and that sadness and that hopeless and helplessness. So make sure you're taking care of yourself if you are that kind of person, for sure. That seems like it's super important for you. But I feel honestly like you kind of have naturally gravitated towards that anyways, and this could be maybe based on your own personal journey, or maybe just your intuition kind of being like, you know, take some time to rest a little bit. Could even be something along the lines of like, you kind of just hit a point where you're just exhausted and you're like, okay, I need to rest, because, you know, the more I try to fight against this rest, the more it's gonna, you know, kind of build up into a larger problem. So there could be like a lot of self-knowledge with that Four of Swords. Like maybe you're tapping more so into your body and your spiritual self, because it feels like body but also within, you know. Four of Pentacles, I feel like you could be, especially because that this is following the Four of Swords, you could be kind of reflecting on areas in which you may be a little bit toxic. And I don't mean that necessarily in the fact like, or in the way of like toxic towards others. This is more so like internal toxicity, in my opinion, because it's almost like, and I mean, I don't mean that you are toxic, but I feel like sometimes we have some toxic tendencies within ourselves that kind of fight against our good, if that makes any sense. It's almost like, yeah, like on unhealthy thinking patterns or ways of thinking, perspectives that are kind of like, you know, maybe out of date. Because with the Four of Pentacles, I typically see it as holding on to something that has already kind of outworn its welcome. And so it's like, it's ready to go, it's ready to be released, but sometimes maybe you find yourself clinging on to certain things and you're just like, why do I do this? But I feel like maybe you're finding out why you do this. Because you're in this like period of self-reflection, and you're like kind of facing up to the ways in which maybe you're acting in a way or behaving in a way, thinking in a way that is either not conducive to your goals, or maybe both. Or it could be that what was it? Just keeping you in a stagnant space, because it's like a certain mindset. It feels more so like a mindset about like maybe a scarcity mindset. And this could be within like your interpersonal or I'll just say interpersonal for now. Interpersonal connections with others. There's like this oh, this is interesting. I'm also getting like a message coming through about how you may be wanting to hold on to people from your past, and this could be specifically having to do with friendships specifically. But it's almost like you feel like you need to hold on to something maybe from the past, and maybe it's certain friendships that maybe it's not even like, it's more so about loyalty rather than does this person actually, you know, make me happy? Does this person being in my life add to my life in some way that's positive? And it's more so just like, well, I can't unfriend them because they've been with me so long, or we've known each other since we were kids. And it's like, that's not necessarily enough of a reason to keep somebody in your energy or to allow them into your energy, just because there is that like history. It kind of feels like maybe you're kind of like a little bit in this position of like, it could definitely be a transition for you, where it's kind of like you're moving away from the friendship groups that you had in your past that maybe were not so fulfilling and maybe toxic in their own way. And it feels like you could be kind of like maybe even shedding the mindsets behind what caused you to hold on to those friends. Like I'm literally getting that maybe one of you out there or maybe multiple of you out there, like you had some sort of friendship that maybe wasn't the worst. Like I don't think like this person was like, throwing stuff at you or anything. Like I don't think it really like was dramatically negative, but in some way it could have felt like these friendships held you back, made you feel afraid to open up to other people. I really do feel like these past relationships, friendships, it definitely feels like community based or friendship based, more so than romantic. But it definitely feels like you're analyzing, like, why am I holding on to these past people? And also you may experience some guilt for releasing those past people. I think that's a very common occurrence when you're kind of cleansing your life of certain energies, or not allowing certain energies to come back into your life, or what have you. And some people can really take that personally when there's not really any reason for them to take it personally. It's just a reflection of their own insecurities being projected back to them, or reflected back to them, I should say. But it's like you're working on, it feels like, honestly, I think you more than likely have somebody from your past that it just seemed like you two were kind of going in your own directions, and maybe just like you weren't any more like compatible as maybe friends, and like maybe at one point you were like very much on the same path together, and it flowed really well, but then maybe eventually you started to see this kind of friction, because maybe the two of you kind of have different perspectives or opinions or goals, etc. But I feel like you're really trying to find a place of balance, and you're choosing, it feels like you're choosing new friends over past friends, and I think that's actually a really good thing. But of course you may be feeling some sense of kind of guilt. I really do feel like this slight sense of guilt behind the scenes, and maybe this is part of why you're like kind of reflecting on this, is like, I know I didn't do anything wrong, but like, why do I feel this sense of guilt? Like I should just naturally want these people to come back into my life, even if they didn't treat me the best or something. So it's like maybe that is also something where it's like you realize those patterns of like holding on to people simply out of loyalty, I should say, rather than like, is this an actual healthy, fulfilling connection, relationship, friendship? And so I feel like you are ready to shed yourself of those past people and past blockages. Because it's also like, if you're holding on to the past, you're not allowing space for the new energy to come in. And I feel like you're realizing this. So it's almost like you're realizing that, there's like this natural shift in your life, and it's like, if you don't move with the flow of that change, I feel like you could either be, in a sense, left behind in your own journey, or like stagnate, or things could like not go your way. And I feel like that would be because you're holding on to past energies that maybe no longer serve you, no longer fulfill you. They could even be distractions from your goals, potentially, depending on what your dynamic was with these people. But I see you choosing what's best for you right here, right now, and rather than thinking about like, well, we were the best of friends back in elementary school or something, or at church camp that one summer, I don't know. So it's like, I feel like you're kind of choosing what aligns to your path, what aligns with you, and what aligns with this sense of balance and being able to kind of gain stable footing to go towards what you want. Because I do feel like friendships are very important. They really contribute to a lot of things in our lives and in ourselves. So the friends we have and keep around and hold on to or allow back in or whatever, they do make an impact on your ability to manifest certain things. And so I feel like you're kind of realizing this, and there may be a moment of discomfort and maybe guilt or shame, but I feel like that's more so maybe societal expectations rather than what you believe to be healthy for you. And I feel like when it comes to societal expectations or what is actually beneficial to you, I typically would say to lean into the more what's beneficial for you, what's actually good for you, and conducive to you manifesting the things that you want. I'm just gonna maybe a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Okay. And at the bottom of the deck we have that Nine of Cups. So I really do feel like your eye is on the prize right now. Your mind is on your manifestations, your goals, the things that you want, because you want to find this fulfillment within yourself, within your life. And I feel like you are creating that right now. And honestly, you've probably been building this up for quite some time too. I don't think this is an overnight thing. I think you've been working on your manifestations and maybe working on clearing out certain energies from your life, working on almost curating. That sounds too impersonal. Well, for lack of a better term, curating a friendship group that is just more compatible with who you are now and what you have going on now. And I think that there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. It's just a societal expectation, that you should allow people back into your life, or you should feel like you have no choice other than to allow people back into your life, or what have you. But it's like, yeah, you're realizing that I'd much rather just do what's gonna align me to my manifestations and help me go forward rather than holding me back. Let's see what's underneath that Nine of Cups. Seven of Cups. So I saw this earlier when I was shuffling before this reading, and I thought that this might be a theme in this reading, that there's a lot of doors opening up to you right now, and there's a lot of options around you, and those options could be very overwhelming. And so maybe that kind of goes back to that, like, old friends versus new friends, like, which path am I going to choose here? Maybe everybody wants to be your friend and you kind of have to be selective. Well, especially because I was getting that empath, sensitive message earlier. I think people may take you as somebody that's very kind, and I think you are, but they may think that you're a bit of a pushover. Let me wait. Okay, I think it's far enough away. Spirit, what was my message? Thank you. Yeah, I just see you. Oh, everybody wants to be your friend. Okay. Yes, because you come across as a very sweet, kind, loving person, and probably sensitive as well, if you relate to that. And so people probably misconstrue that as weakness and as gullibility, naivete, those types of things. And so, but I think maybe through your own personal experience, you're like, I have to be selective with who I let in. I can't just let anybody into my energy and into my life. Not everybody deserves a place, but also some people just aren't compatible with who I am now and, what I'm striving towards. And it's no negative judgment on that person. It's simply just a difference in lifestyles, a difference in mindsets, goal mindsets, or goal-oriented mindsets. It's just like, I do feel like it is kind of a shame that some people can kind of take it so personally, right? It is almost like a personal attack if, say, like a friend of yours from elementary school wants to follow you on Instagram or something, and you're like, well, I haven't really talked to this person since elementary school, and I kind of got my own thing going, and I don't even necessarily want to have this person kind of snooping in my posts or whatever. And whatever the reason is, I feel like it's okay. Yeah, it's just straight up okay if like you feel like somebody's not in alignment with you right here, right now. And that's no negative judgment on them. It's simply just, I don't think that we're going to be compatible during this time. And again, that doesn't have to be in terms of romantic relationships, but just compatible in general. The people that we crave to be around, the people that we want to be around, are typically those we have commonalities with and similar goals, maybe similar mindsets. And maybe you can just tell, like, hey, I don't think that we're going to be in the same sort of mindset, so I'm not really feeling it, and that's totally your right to do so. And I feel like if anybody's trying to make you feel guilty or bad for making those kinds of decisions, then it's probably important to shut them out, those words that they're speaking, because maybe they themselves are like a people pleaser or pushover or something, and so they project that onto you, like you should be this way as well. But maybe you've seen where that gets people and you're like, no, I actually don't want to just allow everybody into my life, no matter how I know them, no matter what we've been through, Anyways, that seems like a very intense message. I feel like that could be for somebody specific. I'm curious what's underneath that Seven of Cups. The Magician. Yes, so you are focused on your manifestations. You're growing more and more powerful by the day. And I feel like your manifestations are just around the corner. Yeah, let's just jump right into that Nine of Cups and start clarifying that bad boy right there. Because I feel like this has something to do with your manifestations. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Nine of Cups about when it comes to giving the collective a heads up? Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Nine of Cups trying to tell us? Please and thank you, Spirit. What is that about? Okay, let me see what came out. Okay. So, clarifying that Nine of Cups, we have the Page of Wands, the Strength card. We have the bottom of the deck Strength card here too. So there's so many double confirmations in this reading, it's insane. So this definitely feels like a very significant message for maybe a few of you, a lot of you, maybe one of you. This feels like it's definitely meant for somebody to hear this message and feel confirmed in that. But yeah, Strength card here. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. And then, well, I guess I'll include those two. So these just fell off the bottom. I'll include them in the reading. The Hermit and the High Priestess. And then bottom of the deck, we have Four of Wands. Four of Wands. Well, although it can be, the twin flame, blah, blah, blah card, or, union card. Yeah, sure, like that's definitely what it could be, but it also could be you hitting some sort of personal milestone and being celebrated either for it or celebrating yourself for that accomplishment. And I would say definitely do that, because that is totally earned and deserved, I feel. I really like I have a soft spot in my heart for the Page of Wands personally, just because I feel like it's that optimism that comes with youth. And it's like, I kind of think of it as like a, before the world really got us down, or, broke our dreams down, or broke our beliefs down, or, made us form into being more realistic rather than going after our dreams. This is more so that youthful optimism that somebody embodies before the world really gets them down, really gets to them. And I feel like you have been trying super hard to kind of maintain that youthful optimism. The Page of Wands is also very courageous and brave. And so I think that you're like, honestly, you're really like, and I don't know if you are even aware of this, but you're doing the exact right thing. Because it's like you're trying to keep your head in the right space. And I feel like because you've been doing that, things are actually going to be aligning for you. Maybe sooner than you realize, for sure. And then that Strength card. I feel like there is that courageousness that I got with that Page of Wands. Strength card also represents Leo energy. The Page of Wands, definitely fire sign. So that could be significant in some way. Doesn't have to be though. But yeah, I feel like you're being very courageous, and you're being like really, you have this divine enlightenment about you that I feel like people really admire about you, but also there's like this self-control that you kind of that kind of emanates from you, like self-control, but not in a way that's like harsh or toxic, but rather just like, maybe it's even just emotional control. You're like very in control of your emotions, or certain things that may typically get you really fired up, or oh, sorry, bumblebee. There's a bumblebee trying to drink the flowers, I think, on my blanket, tablecloth, whatever you call it, I'm sitting on. You're like tapped into the divine, and you're allowing the divine to lead you. Also, you are mastering yourself, your emotions, your demons, mindsets. I feel like mindsets are huge here. You've been really working on that. And then with the Six of Pentacles, this is clarifying the Nine of Cups, as I was saying. So get ready to receive. I feel like that's something to do with this manifestation that is coming in for you. Also, the scales will be balanced out. If you've been feeling like you've been putting a lot of work into something but haven't felt the payoff, the payoff is coming. And the Hermit and the High Priestess, I feel like that is definitely no coincidence that these just so happened to pop out of the deck as I was picking it up. And it's funny that we have the Hermit here, and I was saying earlier that the Four of Swords is kind of like the baby Hermit phase, in my opinion. And then it's like, I feel like this just speaks to your journey. I feel like you've had a lot of Hermit mode moments when you're kind of self-isolating, reflecting, you know, kind of trying to find the knowledge within, the wisdom within, to help guide you. I feel like you do that a lot. You're probably a very reflective person. You could also be maybe a bit of a loner, but I don't think it's necessarily lonely. I feel like it's maybe just because you wish to understand yourself more. You wish to, you know, honestly, because of that, with the Strength card, I was getting that you could have good control over yourself, and maybe these moments of solitude kind of help you to reflect on like possible toxicities that lie within you, or mindsets, or whatever it is that you need to kind of like acknowledge to work through, heal through. High Priestess. So you're very tuned in, not only to yourself, but to the divine as well. And I feel like I was already getting that with the Strength card, so that doesn't seem too surprising to me. Definitely trust your intuition during this time. I'm also getting something about rest. I think maybe that came through with the Four of Swords in there, that message. But because like sometimes, and maybe this is just a me thing, but with my intuition, sometimes it's doing what is uncomfortable to the ego. And I mean that in the way of like, you know, rest, for example. Yeah, we all want to be productive. We all want to, you know, keep going with something or keep putting energy into something. But if we have hit like a burnout, or if we're just like feeling a lot for long periods of time, which a lot of us sensitives are right now, rest becomes an ultimate necessity. And sometimes your body will just be like, you know, I can't do it, so let's take some rest time. And maybe your ego's kind of like, no, I want to go, I want to do these things, I want to, you know, whatever. But sometimes your intuition speaks through your actual bodily feelings, such as like, I feel absolutely exhausted even though I want to do all these things. I think the best thing right now for me and my own spiritual health, physical health, etc., is to just take some time to rest and accept that I need a little bit of time to rest. And definitely not to judge yourself for needing that rest because it's so necessary. I also feel like the more you practice those routines of, resting when you need it, or self-care, those types of things, they also open your mind to clearer intuitive downloads. So that's like another message potentially, is like if you've been feeling like those messages just haven't been coming through as clearly as you would like, take some time to rest before you ask the divine again, or whatever it is that you look for clarity through. Take some time to rest first, because maybe that's necessary to receive that message, or to even comprehend fully that message. So taking care of yourself for sure is a big priority here. I feel like Spirit definitely wants you to take good care of yourself and not to overwork yourself. And not to expect too much out of yourself to a point that it's unfair, I feel like you could definitely be the type of person that may hold yourself to a higher standard than you hold others. And so it's like, if I'm not able to do 150 things in a day, then I'm a failure. Like, no, you're okay if you take one day to rest. It's gonna be okay. I promise you. But yeah. I think that you are coming into a manifestation here in which you're going to be receiving something very beautiful, something concrete in the physical. So this could be literal money, or this could be somebody sharing something of value to you, with you. Could be a gift. It could be, I sometimes see the Six of Pentacles as like a knowledgeable sort of exchange. Sometimes like you can get advice from someone, and it for whatever reason, it just motivates you to act in that moment. And that can be one of the most valuable things in our journeys, is those moments where we have an epiphany, a breakthrough. We find our inspiration, we find our motivation. So it definitely could be a few different things that Six of Pentacles could be referring to, but I feel like get ready to receive. Also the Hermit and the High Priestess, these both kind of have, this is going to sound so maybe conflicting, or I don't know how it's going to sound, but they both kind of have non-action, I guess, as their a similar commonality I can see with them is neither of them are really going towards anything. They're more so waiting for things to come to them, whether that be that internal knowledge or that knowledge from the divine, maybe clarity of mind in order to go down your path. So that honestly kind of gives me this feeling that maybe this is a reminder from Spirit that you don't have to be constantly grinding, pushing, working so hard all the time. And maybe it's time to simply trust that your blessings, manifestations are coming in, and you don't really have to go towards them, fight for them, maybe right now. And maybe that's something that you're uncomfortable with, not acting. Maybe that should be, or could be, something that you may find useful to kind of reflect upon. Why do I feel like I always have to be doing something? Why do I not feel comfortable simply just resting? Maybe you feel a sense of shame or guilt for resting. Maybe you were brought up in a household where it was not seen as something that you could do without harsh judgment or something. There could be something behind that, maybe that needs a little bit more reflection on. It's because it feels almost like maybe you're hesitant to be in receiving mode, and that could be a blockage for you. It's you're not willing to allow things to just come towards you naturally. I feel like maybe sometimes you feel almost the need to kind of push things into happening for you. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way, because I feel like this could definitely be career related, where it's that's kind of what we're taught, right? Is if you want something, you fight for it, you go towards it with all your might, right? But if we're doing that day in and day out for a long period of time, you're going to hit that wall, that I want to say mental breakdown for some reason, but you know, more so just like burnout. Yeah, so it's like, I think right now the best thing to do is to rest and wait for things to come in. And I feel like trusting your intuition, because your intuition can also tell you when it is time to act. And maybe right now it's just telling you, rest, take a seat, you know, just enjoy the ride, because something's about to come in that is very beautiful for you. And it may be something that doesn't require a lot of energy or action right now, and that's okay. I feel like you're the type of person that probably does a lot of action typically. So it's like, allow that action to repay or pay off for you. And maybe that will take that energy of receiving in order to receive it. Yeah, let's see what, so that Four of Wands, I definitely think that's talking about a, what am I trying to say? Yeah, surpassing a personal milestone. I feel like that's definitely what Spirit wants you to know as a heads up, is that you are coming into some sort of personal milestone for yourself, and you should be very proud of yourself for that. I want to see what's underneath that. Seven of Cups. So that's interesting. We saw the Seven of Cups earlier as well. Yeah, again, you have a lot of options here. This could be in love too, to be quite honest. It could be in love, but not necessarily. I feel like it could definitely go either way. But honestly, either way, whether this is career related, romance related, you have a lot of options. A lot of doors are opening up to you. And so you're trying to figure out what is the best path to take. I feel like once you hit an accomplishment or a goal, you could come into this period of having to make a decision or having to choose something, having to kind of weigh things. I want to see what's underneath that Seven of Cups. The Magician still. Okay. Let's see what's underneath. Eight of Cups. So yeah, you choosing yourself. That's helping you manifest. You doing your best to navigate those areas in which you may have a lot of options, and doing whatever speaks to you the most, or what you feel is meant for you, aligned with you. And I feel like that Eight of Cups we saw under the Magician, I feel like that could definitely be a sign that you've been doing the hard work. You've been prioritizing yourself. And, you know, even if that means removing certain things, people, situations from your life. And not everybody has that ability or the desire to do that. So that's a very good positive quality to be embodying during this time, I feel. I'm gonna just take a sippy. Because I do be yapping though. All right, let's see what this Four of Swords is all about. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is the heads up when it comes to this Four of Swords? Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this heads up with this Four of Swords? Please and thank you, Spirit, for the collective. Anything else? For that Four of Swords, please and thank you, Spirit. Okay. Let's see now. So we have the Three of Wands in this direction, Hanged Man this direction. Right off the bat, there is something coming in, but it's gonna make you pause. It's gonna make you think. It's gonna make you see things from a different perspective. Oh, this one could actually be a romantic message here, because that shift in perspective, and then we have the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Cups. So it kind of speaks to me as like, yeah, I'm just gonna say what's coming to me. It feels almost like this could be somebody in love who, or romance, if you're not like in love, but this could be somebody fighting for you, fighting to be with you, fighting to impress you, fighting to, yeah, it feels like somebody is really trying to get your attention here and do something that shows you that they mean business, that they, it could also be somebody that's lining up their actions with their words, you know, somebody that really wants to show you that they're not just talking out their ass, they're actually, you know, following through with things. I feel like this could definitely change your perspective on love, though, because I feel like you're not used to people fighting for you, or fighting to be with you, fighting to overcome obstacles. Maybe you're kind of like used to people kind of giving up at the first sign of something, you know? People that were not as courageous or invested even, maybe. It feels like somebody's really desiring to invest with you in a big way. Oh, I keep getting scared when I feel something crawl on me because of the ticks that I'm trying. Auntie, I hope you got off me. Okay, well. Anyways. Yeah, it definitely feels like there's that shift in perspective when it comes to love. And I feel like through that time, because this is all clarifying the Four of Swords, so I feel like through that time of taking a step back, reflecting, resting, meditating, whatever it is that you do to, you know, kind of hear those intuitive downloads, I feel like you feel that something is about to come in for you, but you're just not sure what. And this thing that's coming in is going to be making you see things from a different perspective. And it definitely could be in love. If not love, this could be some sort of maybe a creative project of some sort, where it's like you completely, your shift, there's like a complete shift in your perspective of this maybe creative project that you're working on or something. And it kind of gives you this boost maybe to your energy, where you really want to fight harder, you want to, you know, try more, you want to put in as much effort as possible to get your success. So yeah, I'm almost even getting like maybe this is a sign that you're heading in the right direction, and that could be very useful for you. It's like that feeling of like, okay, what is that message? Yes, so it's like maybe, yeah, it feels like almost like a little sign where it's like, maybe it's like, maybe you started a business of selling something, and maybe for a long time nobody was buying your product, but maybe there's like a few people that kind of trickle in here and there, and like you're like, maybe one of these days you get like a bunch of orders for your product or something, and maybe it's not enough to make you rich and famous, but it's enough to be like, oh, so this is where I'm supposed to be going. Okay, so this is my path. Like, I feel like there's going to be something like that when it comes in, if this is related to maybe career or creative interests or pursuits. I feel like it's going to be something that shows up, and it's going to make you excited to try harder, because you're like, now I know that if I invest in this path, it will pay off, because I'm already seeing it start to pay off. Even if it may not be paying off to the goal I want, it shows me that that goal is possible. I feel like that's going to be something important for you. That's a beautiful message, honestly. I like that a lot, because it's like kind of showing you, like, Spirit's gonna probably put something into your life where you're like seeing it from a different perspective. Like, maybe you did think something was a dead end, but now it's like, oh wait, this is not a dead end, this is possible. Okay. Page of Swords. Could be that people are paying attention to you, observing you, watching you. If that has to do with maybe this creative project you've been working on, maybe that's a good thing. Also, keeping an open mind and a curious mind as well could be very important in this like next chapter that you're stepping into. Curiosity will definitely like potentially motivate you, or kind of what's that word I'm looking for? Like spur you on in some way, in a positive way. Yes, okay. So I'm also getting that things might be a little bit cloudy right now in a certain area of your life, and maybe that's your creative projects, maybe your spiritual growth, career. Could be a lot of different things, but I feel like this is going to clear up eventually, and maybe it's just a matter of waiting it out until things become more clear. And I feel like, yeah, it's like once things become more clear, then you're like, okay, let's keep doing this, or, you know, let's go down this path. Because it seems like it's like aligned. I want to see what's underneath that Page of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. That's a beautiful energy. So this could be somebody that's observing you and seeing you as a Queen of Pentacles. So they see you as already abundant and successful, kind, giving, down to earth. Somebody could be a little bit shy or feel a little bit lesser than you. They also may not be sure what you think of them. I want to see what's underneath that Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. Wow. So you're coming in with some powerful energy. Creative energy for sure. Trying to maybe even bring your creative projects into the real world or into the 3D in some regard. I'm just curious what's under that Queen of Wands. The World. These are actually some pretty cool cards that are coming out this bottom. So that World card, you've completed some cycles. You're closing out old cycles, you're beginning new ones, in which you're very powerful. Queen of Wands and Queen of Pentacles. Oh yeah, and we had the Queen of Cups earlier. So you're on your way to becoming the Empress, because the Empress is the combination of all the queens. So yeah, you're gonna be good. And maybe just another message about just keeping an open mind, staying curious, not afraid to explore, try new things. Like keeping an open mindset and not being closed off to certain things could be very helpful for you as well with that. Bottom of the deck of this one, we have the Strength card. So yeah, I do think that Spirit is very proud of you right now. They see that you have been trying to listen to them and follow what they are guiding you to do. I feel like they very much appreciate that. That's so funny. I'm getting this like message from Spirit where it's like, you're not somebody to just be like, I don't know how to even express that. It's almost like you, some people like will like maybe like pray to Spirit or whatever, and you know, ask for Spirit to give them guidance, but then maybe Spirit kind of drops a few hints here and there, or you know, tries to give them an intuitive download, and for whatever reason they're either unable to or they don't listen to that guidance. They don't like, so but on the opposite end is you, I feel, where it's like you like are like, Spirit, please tell me where to go, what to do, or whatever, inspire me, or you know, whatever, and then when those signs and synchronicities come through, you actually do listen to Spirit. So I feel like there's something here from Spirit, that Spirit's just like very happy and appreciative that you actually listen to what they have to say and like listen to their advice and stuff. I feel like that's something that Spirit really wants to communicate to you, is that they appreciate that you're open to them and you actually listen to them. You don't just say, oh, I want guidance, and then when they get the guidance that they don't want to hear, you know, they're like, oh well, I didn't get that. Like you even listen to the guidance and intuition and intuitive downloads that are, you know, typically perceived as negative, you know, like, or you know, maybe not in alignment with what you want in that exact moment, but you're like wise enough and tapped into the divine enough to realize that, you know, things take time, or you know, sometimes Spirit's gonna say something that, you know, could piss us off, or you know, we could be reminded to work on something that, you know, we feel we shouldn't have to, or we don't want to, or you know, whatever. Our ego gets in the way all the time of those types of things. Anyways, let's see what's underneath that Strength card. Temperance. Yeah, you've been really good at tempering your emotions. So yeah, you are gaining great control over yourself, over your emotions. You're balancing out. You're showing a lot of patience towards yourself. I feel like the Temperance and the oh, if I could just remember. Uh, the Strength card and the Temperance card, they both have that underlying message of patience. I feel like you're being very patient with yourself, very understanding with your emotions, and understanding how this process sort of works. Because I feel like you have faith that even if things aren't happening in your timing, they're happening in divine timing. It's just a matter of time, right? Underneath that Temperance card, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, it's like you are so wise though. Like, I don't know how it's possible, but you really have a lot of information from Spirit and like a lot of trust in Spirit. I feel like that could also be a message from Spirit where it's like you actually trust Spirit and trust in your intuition, you trust in yourself, your abilities, you trust in what Spirit guides you towards. There's a crane, I believe, or a it's like a grayish, bluish, crane-looking bird. I know we call them something different around here, but it's like that shape of a crane bird. Could be significant. I'll put that in here in the video when I'm editing, what the significance of that could be. But yeah, you're pretty much waiting for divine timing to take place, because I think you have that deep wisdom of like, you know, sure, I want things right now, but I feel like that's probably not the best idea always, or, you know, always healthy or good, you know? And I feel like Spirit just feels really appreciated and feels like you actually genuinely appreciate them and you actually listen to what they have to say. And not everybody does that, because I feel like, yeah, because like sometimes we hear things and we have to like work on things that we kind of just don't want to work on, or face certain things within ourselves that we really just don't want to face. But you do. You show up for Spirit, and Spirit really respects you for that and appreciates you for that. Let's go into the Oracle, see what messages the Oracle has to add to this beautiful reading. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else to add for this heads up for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. Any other messages for a heads up for the collective? Please and thank you. Okay. Okay. I'll put those back because they kind of fell out in a weird way. Okay, we'll just go with what came out. So we have the eel and iris. This represents safety. I feel like this is a sign that you are protected during this time. And the wolf and rosehip, this indicates guardianship. And I feel like these two actually go hand in hand. I think you're being heavily protected by the divine right now, and the divine really wants you to know that. Oh, and then bottom of the deck we have the hawk and thistle. This represents graceful persistence. I feel like that could definitely be you, how Spirit is viewing you. You've been very graceful, persistent. You're not giving up on these things that you're striving towards. There's something about consistency as well, where you're being very like consistent with your efforts. Spirit sees you trying, and I think it feels like Spirit wants to protect you so much because you are genuinely trying. And I feel like you're trying to not just be better for yourself, but to be better for the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Spirit is kind of in awe of you right now. And it's like, yeah, we're going to support this person. We're going to protect this person because you're really valuable to Spirit, because you are actually appreciating Spirit, you are listening to Spirit, you are following your intuition, following what you feel like is the right path. And again, not everybody does that, not everybody has the ambition or willingness to do that, but you do. And so it's like they're going to make sure that you are protected on this journey, because you have probably a message to share with people that is from Spirit. And so it's like, yeah, like we want our message to get out there, so we're going to protect this person with all our might, because they are doing something really important here. And because you're showing up in a very authentic, genuine, real sort of energy, it's like I don't know. Spirit just feels very proud of you from what I feel here. And just trust that you are very protected during this time. With the wolf and rosehip, I'm getting like specifically, like honestly, there's like that undercurrent with the wolf where it's like spirit could kind of be really fierce on your side, protecting you fiercely, not letting nobody hurt you. And then the eel kind of reminds me of an electric eel and how that like would give a shock and stuff. So it's like, yeah, you're protected by very strong spirit guides, ancestors, passed on loved ones, spirit. Like, you are very much protected, and you're not just protected, you're protected by some people that's interesting that I said people. So it could definitely be ancestors or passed on loved ones that are really protective over you, for sure. But there's a fierceness to this where it's like you really do not have to worry. They got your back, for sure. But yeah, that's the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I feel like it probably did surpass being a quickie, but I tried. And I really hope that you enjoyed this. Yeah. So I hope you got something out of this. I feel like this was a really good reading, very positive messages actually, and I feel like Spirit is very proud of you. Keep going, keep doing what you're doing because you're rocking it, and you're going to come into your own success, and you're going to come into your own happiness, contentment, fulfillment. So keep going, yeah. So yeah, if you resonated with this at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. Yeah, and I am so happy that you're here. I appreciate you so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.